flowers from way across the field.
Oh, welcome. I bet you followed your nose all the way over to our front porch over here.
Oh, how lovely. Ah. Looks like you've got a helper.
I do, yes. Well, welcome to our front porch here on East Elm Street. My name is Eva Van Cader, and this is my son, Tommy. We were just making, obviously, a flower arrangement for our dining room table this evening.
I'd prefer to be called Thomas.
This is my son, Thomas. And as a mother knows, it's actually very difficult to change up what you call your son that you've called him ever since the day he was born. Well, and born in this house, too. Well, let's see. Why don't you give me one of those roses? We'll put one of the roses in.
Ow.
Okay, honey. Let's see. I think you'll live. Well, as you can tell, the floral business definitely lives in our bloodline. We are actually descendants of John G. Bettman. Well, who was John G. Bettman, you may ask? First and foremost, he was my grandfather. That's important to me. But you all are here to hear about the other side. He was a floral and nurseryman here in New Albany, and he ran his business from 1867 until he sold it in 1919. If you didn't do the math on that, it's over 50 years of owning and operating his own business. Well, bless you. Oh, Thomas, run in the house and get those couple photos. The one on the wall and the one on the table. In these photos, as you know, a photo is worth more than 1,000 words. You're going to be able to see the magnificent greenhouses and then all the gardens that he had. Well, while you guys are looking at those photos, let me tell you a little bit about my grandpa John. He was born over in Germany, and he came over to the U.S. in 1850. He married my grandma Lucetta in 1866 right here in New Albany, and together they had 6 children. My father Edward being their 4th oldest child. His first store was actually on Vincennes and Oak Street, and then he moved and bought the property up there on Upper Main Street, and that's the great one that you see in the photos there. His greenhouses were definitely ahead of their time, and he commissioned August Plumber and Company to build the heating apparatus that he put in his greenhouses so he could grow vegetables and plants all year round. He was a hard worker and very focused on growing his New Albany business here. Was anybody here for the 1903, the hailstorms? 1903, nobody? I wasn't either. I wasn't born until 1913, but I've heard about it. And as you can tell, let's see, greenhouses, hailstorm. They don't go together. Well, didn't bother Grandpa John. He repaired the damage and went right on. Everything was grown right on site. All the produce and the flowers and everything was grown right there. Did you see that there was a railroad right by? There's a railroad right by. How clever was that? That way he was able to ship his fresh produce all across America, and he did. He was known especially for his peaches, and in the 1891 fair, along with some other plants, he showed them there. Oh, and if you wanted an apple tree, and I'm not talking any apple tree, I'm talking the one that produces those most tastiest, juiciest apples, you went to Grandpa John. Well, okay, it's John to you all. He also supplied all the floral arrangements for the high school graduations. And if you went into his shop, and you would get a box of freshly cut flowers for 75 cents. And I'm talking roses and marigolds and baby breath, and apparently he was really known for his carnations. 75 cents. Oh, are there any baseball fans? Baseball fans, okay. I don't know if you made it to the 1894 game over in Louisville or not.
I missed that one.
You missed that one? Okay. Well, that one I thought was a really neat story because apparently Grandpa John presented Meekins, their Major League team, New York team over there at the Louisville game, a 7-foot floral display. Now, I'll tell you, I think that brought him luck because Meekins, in that game, he pitched 3 innings and only 1 ball got hit. It was the flowers, I tell you, they're luck. Well, Grandpa John's business was definitely a family affair, and my 3 uncles, Fred, John D., and William, also were in the floral business. Where John D., he operated his own nursery also. Well, my father, Edward, he was as a florist over at the Indiana State Reformatory in Clarksville. Now, you might just be scratching your head on that one because how does a florist and a reformatory go together? I got the answer. He taught botany as an educational trade program so that they could have something to do as a trade when they got out. I thought was really, really cool. Something that was kind of off subject, but a really neat, now we're talking about the reformatory. As a child, I remember on Sundays, my father and I would take the interurban trolley from New Albany over to Clarksville to the reformatory because it was theater day there, and we get to watch a show together. Now, the reformatory's already closed down by now, but you all would know it as the fully functioning Colgate plant. You know, the one with a really, really, really big clock? Yep, that's the old reformatory. Well, you might ask for one thing, too. Well, what did he do for Christmas time? I've got the answer. Okay, I found this ad in the newspaper, and I wrote it down here because I wanted to make sure and get it all word for word for you. But it says, official advertisement voice, for Christmas, give flowers. Remember Mother with one of the beautiful special Christmas baskets or a potted plant. Your wife, hint, 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 will appreciate one of our beautiful poinsettia plants for either the Christmas table or a window. Now, also included in this 1915 ad, now mind you, I was 2 years old at this point, but this was all, this cracks me up. Flowers delivered by motor to any address in the 3 Falls cities. Now, I know, and now in the 1950s, we're seeing a lot more of these, but that was a big deal back then. Oh, and you could order flowers by telegraph or express it to any part of the United States for Christmas Day. Now, he was obviously a man ahead of his time, and in 1912, he became a member of the Chamber of Commerce there in New Albany.
Mother just told him the alligator story. The alligator that was 8 feet long and weighed 150 pounds.
Of all the wonderful stories I just told you about flowers and reformatories, and he wants the alligator story. You know, I'll tell you, I still to this day wonder how in the world they actually managed to find somebody to get enough courage to weigh and measure that monster.
Well, I would have helped.
Well, I know you would have because you're brave and strong. Not me. Well, okay, on with the alligator story. Well, I have got this from the newspaper for you, but according to the local newspaper in 1890, New Albany Councilman Slosser had been given this alligator from a friend in New Orleans. And that this amphibian will be placed on exhibition at the fair. The alligator will be kept through the winter in a small pond in Bettman's greenhouse.
Mother, I learned in school that alligators are reptiles, not amphibians.
And you are a very, very smart boy. And that is why you never believe everything that you read. But either way, the alligator story really is true. And my grandfather kept this alligator in a small pond in his greenhouse over the winter time. Good thing that they're cold-blooded, because cold-blooded means they slow down. And I would say there's a very fine line between a cold, slow alligator and a warm, hungry one. But needless to say, everybody came out of it okay with all their fingers, toes, ears, and noses. The only thing is, we don't know the ending of the story. We do not know where that said alligator ended up at. Moving along with the story. Well, my grandmother Lucetta, she passed away when she was 78 years old, and that's when Grandpa John decided to go ahead and sell the greenhouses out, and he sold out to JWM Huckabee. We got to keep Grandpa for quite a few years afterwards. He died at the ripe old age of 92. And one of the regrets that I have so far, and I hope I get this remedy before I pass on in life, is we never got him a gravestone. Grandma and Grandpa are buried right over at Fairview, and they have no gravestone marker. So I really hope I get that done before I pass on. Well, kiddo, you think we should finish checking on dinner?
Yeah, probably. I'm kind of hungry. But could I have a small cookie before dinner?
You have been quite a big help. Okay, how about we compromise? And I'll make you some hot tea and some toast to dip in it, just like my mom, your Grandma Charlotte, used to make for you.
Okay, I guess that'll work too.
That'll work. Okay, we'll do that. Well, thank you guys for stopping by our home this evening. And oh, please be very careful and watch out for alligators on your travels. Thank you.